Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations. In today's video, we're going to be diving back into some Cookie Run Kingdom and specifically talking about the season arena. It's about to be coming to a close in a day and a half, and so I'm going to be bringing you guys some tips and some tricks and some compositions that you can hopefully use to end off the season on a higher tier to get some crazy amount of crystals. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Diving right in, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned in the intro to this video, we're going to be diving into the arena. As you can see, we've got 1 day and 13 hours left at the time of recording this video, but nevertheless, I'm hopefully going to be bringing you guys some tips and things that you can absolutely use to increase your ranking. Right off the bat, if you're brand new to Cookie Run Kingdom or you're very new to Cookie Run Kingdom, overall, your season ranking at the very end, so when this 1 day and 13 hours is over, whatever ranking you are currently sitting at, or tier you're sitting at, that's going to be the amount of crystals and medals that you're going to get. So naturally, you want to make sure you are reaching as high of a tier as possible because, again, you're going to be getting a lot more crystals and medals for that individual tier when the season resets. With that being said, though, guys, diving into the very first thing or tip that I think is very important, that's going to be your defense down here in the bottom. If you click on the defense, a lot of players currently up until this point, or the past couple of days, I would say, utilize a weak defense. And the reason why they use this weak defense is strategically to allow people to target them and kill them, even if they wouldn't necessarily be able to kill their main team if this was a strong defense. And now the strategy behind this is that it allows people to then go back through their, their revenge list and revenge those opponents because they might have hit them with like a lower level account, thinking that they would be able to get just some free trophies and move on. Well, now is the time, if you have a weak defense, to then change out that weak defense for a strong defense to hold your position and hold your tier a little bit better as the season comes to a close. And then that leads me into the second thing I want to talk about here, and that's going to be going down your defense list. If you click over to the defense tab, you will see several times where maybe people have hit your team and killed them and all this other sort of stuff. If you see anybody on this list as you were scrolling down that you could absolutely kill or revenge and get those trophies and medals back, basically, you can earn those medals, then now is going to be the time to start going through that list, or even so, I would say maybe waiting until like the last couple of hours of the individual season, then that way you're making sure that you can hold on to your tier, because like I said, guys, it turns into a hungry fest at the last couple of hours, especially at those top tiers where players are just hitting anybody and everybody, trying to take down as many opponents as they can to increase their overall rank. So again, you could potentially strategically use this defense tab to your advantage the last couple of hours. Scroll through here, find a couple of the teams that you can revenge on that you can absolutely beat, then that way it'll just hopefully give you enough medals to hold your position. And then now diving into another tip here for you guys, and that's going to be bringing us to picking and choosing the right opponent and making sure that you are scouting out your opponent before you attack them. Don't just go in blindly and attack anybody. Alrighty, so basically how you do that is picking and choosing your individual teammates right off the bat that you know you can beat, right? Don't go into a fight that you can clearly, obviously see that you're going to lose. The second thing you can do is, even though you can't see some of the cookies that are available on certain enemies, once you get to a certain tier, your opponents could then hide 1 or 2 of their cookies. If you can't see some of those, that's okay. What you can do is you can still click on the green battle button and you can see what you can see, and then you can take those clues. So to give you guys an example, this one, obviously we can see all 5 cookies, but if we couldn't see all 5 cookies, then we can see the cookies that are available, and then not only that, we can see their overall attack power, which means they've got more attack power. The less attack power typically means they've got more, damage resistance, so they're going to be a little bit more tanky versus somebody who's got more attack power, where they're going to be putting out a lot more damage. Same thing goes for the overall treasures. You can see what treasures they're currently running, and then a lot of times when it comes to treasures, guys, you could easily tell certain compositions just by the treasures that they are using. If you're unfamiliar with that, definitely check out the flyer that's been floating around in the community. I've got it posted in my Discord, and it'll literally show you all of the main compositions that are running in the arena and the treasures and and the cookies and every single thing you need to know about them. But again, guys, it's very easy to scout out players, but just make sure that you're picking and choosing the right opponents and not just hitting anybody. And then that leads me into the next thing here that I want to talk about really quick, and that's going to be utilizing the free refresh to your advantage. Whether it's 10 minutes, every 10 minutes if you own the Kingdom Pass. If you do not own the Kingdom Pass, it'll be every 30 minutes. But nevertheless, either way, make sure you are utilizing running it literally all the way up until the season reset, just to make sure that you can hold your tier and that you have at least something available, or at least some opponents to hit that you can absolutely beat when that time does come if you happen to get bumped down a tier. Alrighty, so officially diving in here to a composition that you guys can absolutely use to your advantage to hopefully climb out some of additional tiers before the season officially resets. That's going to bring us to this composition here. We've got Cocoa Cookie rocking a full cooldown topping set, but nevertheless, the big kicker here, you need at least 22.3% cooldown on Cocoa for this composition to work. You can see we achieve that with a full Swift topping set. Again, trying to focus in on as much cooldown as you possibly can via the substats. Next up, we've got, that's going to be Holly Berry on this team. Again, running nothing but solid almonds. We're trying to stack up as much damage resistance as we possibly can. You can see we're rocking a 40.3% with this set specifically, but nevertheless, nothing too crazy with Holly Berry. Again, you're just looking for survivability. We've got Frost Queen up next. For my Frost Queen, I am going to be running the full Searing Raspberry set. Again, just trying to maximize the overall damage output. Damage resistance isn't bad here just because, again, it's going to add to Frost Queen's overall survivability. Naturally, a little bit of cooldown, again, isn't really going to hurt anything. But with that being said, that's what we've got on Frost Queen. Next up, we've got that brand new Cookie Eclair. Again, we're going to be running a full Searing Raspberry set. However, just like with Cocoa, there's a certain cooldown percentage that you are looking for, and that's going to be over 6.3%. Reason being is because you want to get that Eclair to pop off on a 4-second timer right away in the battle. So again, 6.3%, we're rocking a 6.5. We're good here in this aspect, but that's going to be what we're going to be rocking here for this composition. And then last but not least here, we've got, that's going to be Pure Vanilla Cookie. Once again, just like Holly Berry, you're going to be running a full solid almond set to just make sure he stays alive as long as possible and then can utilize his skill as long as possible by staying alive. All three treasures we're going to be running is going to be the scroll. We've got the Revive Feather as well. And then last but not least, we've got, and that's going to be that Jelly Watch. And then officially diving in here to the second composition we've got for you guys today. And that's going to be the Kumiho Eclair Scam Comp, essentially. Very easy one to build here if you've already got the Kumiho Scam Comp already built. Essentially the same thing. We're just adding Eclair. As far as Ginger Brave goes, a full set of solid almonds to make sure that Ginger Brave stays alive. Kumiho, a full set of Swift chocolates. Once again, nothing too special. Making sure she stays alive by utilizing her skill as often as possible and making sure you've got damage resistant substats. Next up, we've got, and that's going to be running a Sea Fairy. A full Sea Fairy on a full Searing Raspberry set is going to be ideal here. Now, one thing I will mention when it comes to overall substats, you do want to focus on a little bit of damage resistance for this Searing Raspberry set just because you do want to make sure she stays alive, but definitely try to focus in on as much attack as possible because, again, she's going to be there to do as much damage as possible. The next up we've got here, and that's going to be Eclair Cookie. Eclair, very similar to the last composition, is going to be running full Searing Raspberries, again, to maximize his overall damage, but you still want to make sure you're getting that 6.3% cooldown via substats because you want to make sure he does go off within 4 seconds. And then last but not least, we've got Almond Cookie here running just a full solid almond set to just make sure he stays alive as long as possible. And then for the overall 3 treasures, we've got the Scroll, we've got the Librarian's Robe, and then last but not least, we've got that Lollipop. Again, all focused on doing a megaton of burst damage. Now, officially diving in here to the third composition we've got for you guys, and that's going to be a Cocoa composition. Very straightforward from last season. We did make a couple of tweaks and changes. Right off the bat, we've got Cocoa Cookie, once again, running a full Swift chocolate set. You're just trying to focus and get that 22.3% on cooldown, all right? So again, nothing too special here. Frost Queen, I am going to be currently running a full Searing Raspberry set. Some people will argue you could run a mix set. It all just going to be dependent on your substats and what you can get. For me personally, I got what I needed out of running a full Searing Raspberry set. My cooldown is going to be a 6.9 and my damage resistance is going to be 8.2. It works very, very well with my Sea Fairy. So again, you just got to play with it with whatever Sea Fairy and what percentage you've got on your Sea Fairy for cooldown and stuff and what works hand in hand. For my Sea Fairy here, I'm going to be, again, running a mixed set, running 3 Searing Raspberries and 2 Swift Chocolates. we really just try to make sure we get above that 11.8% on cooldown so we can make sure that our Sea Fairy does go within that 4-second timer. And then again, if I drop my screen here, you can see that I'm also achieving 15.2% damage resistance. So again, just to make sure that we can keep Sea Fairy alive. And then last but not least here we've got, that's going to be Cotton and Parfait. For Cotton Cookie, I am running a mixed set. I'm running basically 3 Swift Chocolates and 2 Solid Almonds. We're just trying to focus and make sure that we get as much cooldown as possible and we get as much damage resistance as possible to make sure that we can, use Cotton's skill as often, and then also making sure she's doing as much damage and having survivability as possible, utilizing the attack and damage resistance. And last but not least, we've got Parfait here, again, very similar to Cotton Cookie, just running a mix set to make sure we can utilize her skill as often as possible and making sure she's staying alive. Last but not least, for the 3 individual treasures we've got, that's going to be the Pilgrim Scroll for attack, the Jelly Watch for cooldown, and however, we're going to be changing it up now because Eclair Cookie is officially in the game. We're going to be running the Bookseller's Monocle. If you guys don't know, the Monocle does clear, is able to detect and cleanse debuffs from the entire party and restores 30% of each cookie's max HP. So again, the Monocle is very, very good, very similar to like Herb Cookie's skill, where it has the ability to cleanse off that weakness debuff that Eclair is providing. So hopefully these compositions help you guys in increasing your tiers. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude today's video. Like I said, hopefully this gives you enough understanding of some of these 3 compositions, and then you guys can grind out some additional tiers before the official reset, because again, this is literally the best way to get crystals in the game, at least guaranteed and in your control. As always, guys, don't forget to drop a comment down below if you have any additional questions or join my Discord. The link's always provided down below in the description. Again, we'd love to have you over there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for anything and everything Cookie Run Kingdom here on the channel. With that being said, as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.